Dube here. Today I'm with Kirsten Reed. Why? Because I was lucky enough to have a friend come and play with me here at home. So we've had some fun in the studio. Now, she's on a mission that some of you may have been aware of. She's on a mission to get me to use a certain color. And what color is that?
That's brown. Because brown is in everything. Brown is in the earth, and brown is just kind of the basis of being a neutral color. And my little rainbow friend here, I think, can benefit from using some brown.
Okay, so I have started to like brown just a little bit. So any brown that I've used, we can hold her partially responsible for. But we decided we wanted to try and create something together. So what we've done is filmed the two of us with each of us having a canvas to work with, using the same supplies, and then we're going to switch. So that I'm going to work on top of hers, she's going to work on top of mine, and that way it's going to kind of see where it goes. We don't know what's going to happen, but we know we're going to have a good time experimenting and playing.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if I'm going to use any brown or not, but we'll see.
I think I could probably persuade her.
And that noise that you're hearing over there, that's my very playful little dogs. Aren't they wonderful now that we're filming? Thanks, guys. Anyway, enough of our talking. Come and see what we made. Well, here are the canvases we're working with. Each one of our wood panel about 9 by 12. And we are going to start with acrylic paint. So any of the acrylic paints that I have here, we can use however we want. I am going to go for the ever handy dandy way of rubbing paint around with my fingers because that makes me very happy. And Kirsten's going to be using a palette knife because that makes her happy. Now, once we're all done with this acrylic paint layer, then what we're going to do is switch canvases. Now, in a perfect world, we'd wait for everything to dry. But I'm having too much fun playing, so I'm not going to wait that long for things to dry. I'm just going to dive in and start putting the next layer on top. Well, what are we going to do next? Well, we're going to switch canvases, and then we're going to head into book text. The only rule, again, is that we use book text on this layer, so however it makes us happy to do it, we can do that. I've grabbed the scissors and am making wonky circles, and she's gone into tearing and ripping and creating various spaces on hers. And as I'm gluing this down, I actually became very attached to my circles, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great. I had all these ideas for them. But the cool part is I can't get attached to this layer because I'm going to be trading it and switching with Kirsten just as soon as we've got all these things glued down, and we're using PPA here to glue all these papers down. So we've switched, and now it's acrylic inks. And what color does she go for? She goes for that big old bright red. I don't grab red a whole lot, but I grab brown even less. And as much as she's trying to talk me into brown, I'm not buying it for this one. I'm staying in the very bright colors. I did bring in a pop of orange here to add some little drips and drops. Thing about working with acrylic ink is you do need to let it dry, so we're going to hit it with a heat gun and come back for the next layer. Next one is going to be gelatos, and this is just getting some creamy color on there. I'm back to working with the circles, and Kirsten's working on all that green. Well, it's not going to be all green very soon because she's bringing in a whole bunch of other colors over there. And what I'm seeing in myself is my attachment to the layers. Wow, am I feeling like, oh, I've got ideas for this and for that. And again, I know I'm going to be switching, so I really need to be keeping an eye over there on what she's doing because that's the next one I'm going to be working on when she finishes adding all that color to those layers. Once we finish up with this one, what's going to come next? It's going to be time for stencils. You know those had to come into this somewhere because we both love playing with stencils. Well, which stencils? We've switched canvases, and now I'm working with all those great colors that Kirsten has got all over that canvas, and I'm going to go with my Venetian stencil. I love buildings, and the stencil fits perfectly on this, so I'm just going to go right there with it with some heavy-bodied white paint. Kirsten's feeling some flower action happening over there. Gonna add in some words, just little bits here and there, going for the soft and subtle. And while she's doing this, she's trying to nudge me on the whole brown thing, but it's still not happening. I'm still resisting the brown on this, feeling the rainbow today. And she's working over there with fluid acrylics, so creating all sorts of wonderful tealy colors, mixing a darker teal with some white in there. And now she's going to start turning those circles into those blooms that she saw in her head. And she's going to start by getting some more pattern and color inside each one of those. Well, I've turned that white paint blue on mine, and now I'm just enjoying watching her stencil and create because I think I'm all done with this layer so far. Still need some more things to happen on it, but for now, I'm going to wait for our next assignment. What's the next assignment now that we've switched? We're going back to acrylic paint, so any way that we want to use acrylic paint, we can go ahead and do that. Weirdest thing happened here. I decided to go subtle. When do I go subtle, right? So I am just adding little bits of paint, little bits of shading here and there to start, and she's turned to her trusty palette knife with a little bit of white paint to sort of push the background back, and then found an angel off on the side. So she's adding all the details, bringing it to life, and I have to say, I'm pretty interested just watching her do that. So interested in watching her do this that I'm not really doing a whole lot over on my layer. I'm doing a little bit, but it is so subtle that, frankly, every now and then Kirsten would look over and go, "Are you doing anything over there?" And not really a whole lot. And so the next question that we started thinking about is, how do we know when we're finished? That age-old question when you're creating, when are you done? So we're getting to that point where when we finish this layer, it's about time for me to call Uncle and say, I've got some ideas of things I want to finish on the canvas, so it's time for those finishing bits and touches. Now, I had to edit out a whole bunch of stuff where neither one of us was doing anything on camera because we spent what felt like an hour and a half searching for my pencil sharpener so I could sharpen my white Stabilo pencil. Well, finally we found one. She's busy working on her flowers over there, getting more texture in there with the stencil, and I'm finally getting my white Stabilo pencil sharpened. So I've got it sharpened. I spent all this time looking for it. I know exactly what I want to do with it. So as I bring it in here and start using it on this, it totally does not look the way I want. It is not the pencil I wanted. So I ended up finding another one. So all that work to look for it, yeah. And if you're wondering why it went dark here, that's because we had to unplug the camera lights so that Kirsten could use the heat gun because I only have so many electrical outlets here. And as she's trying to dry the stuff so she can build on her next layer. While doing that, I'm taking this blue Stabilo pencil and getting some more definition around my stencil. So I'm going around this, I'm working on it. Now I'm starting to get the vision in my head coming to life. Very, very happy with it. But the angel, yeah, she's going to need a little bit more to get her to pop out against this busy and big building. And Kirsten's over there adding all sorts of color and layers to her flowers. She's going to town. And I'm looking at this going, uh-oh. I need to do more to bring out that angel. Darken her up because the building is so very, very dark. So while I'm doing this, Kirsten is so very nicely coaching me and trying to actually convince me to use maybe even a little brown, but I'm kind of shying away from that one. But I am going to add in just little touches of darkness here and there. And she's back to drying again now that she's got the acrylic inks, which, by the way, can take forever to dry when you've actually got a big piece of it there. If Kirsten's new to you, then you can find more about her over on her blog at keystropesandkaleidoscopes.blogspot.com, and of course I'll have the link down below for you in the description on the video. She's got all sorts of fantastic paintings over there. Lots of good stuff on her blog. And if you want to see more of what I'm up to, you can find me over at colorfuljourney.com. Well, what's happening now is we're both really fiddling with this, trying to put those final touches on it. And I have to say this was an extra challenge because it wasn't all our own work, because we kept switching from layer to layer. Each of us really stepped out of what we would have done on our own, pushing those boundaries a little bit, letting us explore some different things, which is exactly what I wanted to do today as we were both playing in the studio. Well, as we put the last fiddling and finishing touches onto these canvases or boards, you know what I mean when I say canvases, I want to say thank you so much for joining us for our play today. If you've enjoyed this video, we'd really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up here on YouTube. And of course, if you've got someone that you think would enjoy this video, we'd love it if you shared it with them. And if you're still here watching the video, you've probably enjoyed it quite a bit and you might enjoy some of my other videos. So go ahead, take a moment, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and that way you'll know as soon as I have a new video come out. Well, a big thank you to Kirsten Reed for coming and playing, and thank you for joining us on this colorful journey.